Hey Bandidos, guess what? The First Descendant is launching soon, and I mean really soon. And I need your help picking a main character. We're diving into all the characters today to figure out which one is the best to focus on. But first, let's get you up to speed.
Tux makes it exciting!
So the First Descendant is an upcoming free-to-play game by Nexon Games. It's a third-person looter shooter with cross-play and cross-progression. Basically, you can play it anywhere with your friends. The game drops on July 2nd, and you can start preloading it 48 hours before, which is June 30th. So mark your calendars. Now, if you played games like The Division 2, Destiny 2, or Warframe, you'll get the vibe of the First Descendant. Powered by Unreal Engine 5, it looks pretty darn amazing. So the goal, become a Descendant and fight to save humanity. Each Descendant has unique abilities for solo and co-op missions. You can team up with up to 4 players to take down massive bosses. You might know Nexon Games from titles like The Finals and Maple Story. Nexon published The Finals and developed the Maple Story. They usually partner with other companies for the Asian market, but this time they're handling everything for the First Descendant. Now, for the timing. Preload starts on June 30th at 12 a.m. Pacific Standard. The global release, July 2nd at 12 a.m. I'm seriously but cautiously excited for the First Descendant. I love these types of games. I'm deep into the Division 2 right now, as you know, but I'm hoping this new game will be another one for our community to rally around. I'm all about the endless loot and improving my gameplay. That's what keeps pulling me back to live service games. Right now, I'm hooked on X-Defiant, the Division 2, and hopefully the First Descendant when it launches. This summer, my gaming roster is packed. Truth be told, not every game sticks. I give new games about 8 hours to impress me. If they don't, it's bye-bye. But if the First Descendant hits hard, I have no idea how I'll juggle it with my other games. This might turn out to be one of the most indoor summers ever. I'm probably gonna have to grow a patch of grass next to my desk. Now, let's check out those characters and figure out which one should be my main. Drop your suggestions in the comments area. Let's get to this. There's so many characters they provide. This is gonna be a hard decision. But let's start with Lepic, the final grenadier. Lepic? Lepic. Overview, DPS, a dealer who uses grenades to attack. Clears a battlefield with his tactical prosthetic arm and grenades, which boost a powerful performance. Fire. His passive skill, it's called Close Call. There's a chance of surviving fatal damage during battle. Helpful. Grenade, which is tech, throws a grenade forward at the enemy. All right, so not backwards. Well, it shows him doing it backwards. Extra burns when Overclock is active. And then we have Overclock. Increase all skill ATK and adds a burn effect to grenade and overkill for a set duration. And then we have Traction Grenade. Throws a traction grenade forward to pull the enemies within range. Hey, that's neat. I like that idea. Overkill, which is tech. So fires a powerful shell at the enemy. Artillery, love that. The shell is maintained at the landing point for a set period of time. All right, that's cool. Inflicting constant damage. Extra burns when Overclock is active. I like that. All right, and so I'm gonna skip over the story parts. Let's get into his exclusive equipment ability. So the Arc Drive Tactical Prosthetic Arm. So the Arc Drive Tactical Prosthetic Arm is a device created to compensate for the Descendants' loss of limb and is linked to their Ekiv. I don't know how to say that. Esiv. Oh my gosh. Direct transmission of brain signals allows the Descendant to use it like their own limbs. It is also linked with their arc, helping manifest a variety of abilities. Among them, Lepic's exclusive prosthetic arm has been designed to infuse explosive arc into rounds and grenades, and also enables him to fire concentrated arc when he focuses his mind. So that's all pretty cool. I've had poor experiences with grenadiers in the past. It depends on how smart the enemies are, right? Because, you know, they can see it coming. It's not really that fast of an attack. So, and of course, the delayed explosions, it gives them time to tuck and roll out of the way. In the Division 2, the enemies are too smart, so it's really hard to hit them with things like concussion grenades. But from the First Descendant, the enemies just don't seem like they're that smart. Many times they're just standing there waiting to die. So maybe this could be really effective. Tell me your thoughts about Lepic and being a grenadier. So Ajax is one of these featured Descendants. The Liberated Guardian. So Ajax, he's a tank who utilizes void energy. He leads the team with a force field that protects allies while deflecting enemy attacks. Descendant attribute, a non-attribute. So this is one of those guys you gotta have on your team, right? So his passive skill acquires void energy after using skills. When the void energy reaches its maximum amount, it enhances skills and grants additional effects. The orbit barrier dimension. Creates a shield in front of Ajax. Durability increases proportionally to Ajax HP and def. So it enhances reflex damage proportion to def to enemies hitting the barrier. Void Walk, which is tech, leaps into the air and lands on the ground to strike nearby enemies, stunning them. If enhanced, max shield increases for a certain period of time. Expulsion strikes nearby enemies, knocking them back. Nice stagger effect. So the range and max shield are increased if enhanced. And then Hypercube creates a dome-shaped shield. Durability increases proportionately to Ajax, HP, and def. It enhances reflex damage proportional to def to enemies hitting the barrier. Yeah, I've seen something like this. Actually, next Defiant, the Phantoms have this. It's effective when you're well positioned, for sure. So Ajax exclusive equipment. So what is that? Rayleigh MK5 Void Energy Battlesuit. So the Rayleigh MK5 Void Energy Battlesuit, named after Rayleigh, the first ever Descendant, is a military suit developed to explore the void. A decade later, these suits may be outdated, but as the only remaining suit of the series, it is the perfect equipment for the Descendant known as Ajax, despite it being defective. Although the suit was damaged, it has absorbed enough void energy for Ajax to allow him to manipulate the void energy adeptly by incorporating it into his own spatial theories and art. It may have been the cause of Ajax's mishap in the void, but now it is an impregnable shield that provides powerful barriers and channels kinetic energy. So what do you guys think about Ajax? I know he's one of the popular ones, the ones featured a lot. How do you guys feel about his DPS? Is he too much tank? Are there better ones out there? And now to Viessa, the cold-blooded hunter. She intrigues me. Hey, sorry if I'm butchering some of these names, by the way. It's just all very foreign language. Okay, so she's a debuffer who uses chill at will. She uses chill to freeze enemies in place, unleashing cold snap-like attacks as she weaves her way between them. Chill. First of all, she's kind of hot, just gotta say, but I love the debuff effects, really in any game. So this looks very, very interesting to me. I've always found like debuffs and status effects can be even more helpful than shield or healers in many games. So let me know what you guys think about that idea. So Ice Sphere creates an ice sphere floating around her body when inflicting enemies with the ice shackle effect. Proportional to the effect stage, the ice sphere will automatically fly towards nearby enemies and deal damage to the target and its surroundings. She's got frost shards. So fires an exploding ice beam, inflicting damage and ice shackle around the area it hits. Ice shackle effect increases by 1 stage when hit, increases by 2 stage if hit by the exploding area. And then Frost Road increases running speed and shield and creates ice sheets on the ground where Viessa stands. I like that idea. When enemies come into contact with these ice sheets, they are inflicted by ice shackle. Increases by 2 stages. Ice shackle effect. Cold Snap. Release an arc of cold air in front, inflicting damage and ice shackle. Ice shackle effect increases by 2 stages. Blizzard creates a snowstorm that explodes over time, inflicting damage and ice shackle on enemies caught within. So ice shackle effect increases by 3 stages when hit, increases by 4 stages if hit by the exploding area. Arc Refrigerant Release Drone is her exclusive ability. So Arc Refrigerant Release Drone is a battle subsystem modified specifically for Viessa. It uses thermal sensors to automatically track down and attack the Vulgats who become colder than their surroundings, enemies that have been attacked by Viessa. The drone is linked by Viessa's arc. When Viessa uses her abilities, the drone is summoned automatically. Various drone technologies have been researched to enhance her battle capabilities. The very first fruit of such efforts was the Arc Refrigerant Release Drone. Since then, it became possible to link the arc of the Descendants to dedicated drones and turrets. And she would sometimes joke that she was the one that started the arc drone technology. Oh, that's pretty cool. She's like the Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero of First Descendants. Love that idea. All right, now to Jaber, the Genius Engineer. So he's a utility dealer, a utility type DPS who uses turrets. I like this idea. Summons turrets for assault and recovery respectively. When the turrets are enhanced by multi-purpose guns, he can fight more effectively. Okay, talk me out of this idea, please, because it sounds pretty darn cool. So ATK increases when assault turret and medical turret are both summoned. Assault turret. So summons an assault turret to attack the enemy. If enhanced, it launches attacks into nearby area. And then medical turret. Summons a medical turret to heal allies and distract enemies. If enhanced, it restores mana. And then multi-purpose gun. Changes gun to multi-purpose gun. If hit by multi-purpose gun, turret enters an enhanced state. Ooh, that's cool. Reactive. Recalls all summoned turrets and inflicts powerful damage to nearby enemies. After using Total Recall, you enter Overhaul state, where turrets are summoned in their enhanced states. Ooh, that's cool. All right, his exclusive. Arc-sensitive electronic network system. So developed to fully utilize Jaber's ability to send and receive electronic signals using his arc. This system is a formidable electronic warfare device designed to collect all electronic signals within the range of Jaber's arc and relay them directly to his brainwaves, allowing his response time to be less than 0 milliseconds. Wow. In particular, due to their unique versatility and responsiveness, dedicated turrets utilizing the system are used in various battle missions. The use of multi-purpose guns that amplify arc signals gives him an advantage, even against large groups of Vulgus. And that's why I like this concept, because the art of distraction. You basically can become ninja or invisible to the enemies because they're so distracted by the drones. In other words, you're like the one-man army, but you're more like the general in the back and everybody else is doing the work. So command and control and conquer. Like that idea, man. Talk me out of him, please. Sharon. Such a generic name. Sharon. They're probably saying it different. Sharon. I don't know. The assassin in the shadows. Now this is another one you're gonna need to talk me out of because I'm like sold on first sight. Love the idea of her. She's the ninja of the group. So let's look. Close range dealer, an assassin type melee dealer with electric arc. Using camouflage, she can close the distance to her enemies whenever she desires and ambush enemies anytime, anywhere. Her attribute is electric. So damage increases when attacking an enemy that is not attacking Sharon. Killing enemies with a skill in ambush state resets cooldown for active camouflage. Oh, that's cool. So you can chain kill if you're stealthy. All right, so cutoff beam attacks enemies with electric blade to deal damage and inflict them with electrocute effect. Active camouflage hides from enemies when attacking or using skills. Active camouflage state ends immediately, regardless of time remaining. Yeah, we've seen that. That's like the first echelon's camouflage from X Defiant. So you're invisible until you take that first shot. So when active camouflage state ends, Sharon enters ambush mode, increasing damage of the next attack. That's cool. So it's not all lost, there's a game. Okay, so impact rounds. Launches built-in explosives forward from the arm to stun enemies. That's cool, allowing you to close in and assassinate them with your blades. All right, flash short sword. Targets enemies within aiming range and throws multiple knives to attack them. Knives explode to inflict enemies with damage and electrocute effect. Exclusive equipment ability. Arc drive full body prosthetic : that can't be right? :00. Wait, she's got it. Okay, let's read this. From the planning stage, the experimental full body prosthetic technology was controversial. Indeed, the name is. So the arc drive was originally designed to replace lost body parts. So did she lose her colon? So the idea of attaching it to the entire body raised ethical concerns about prolonging the suffering of the wounded who were effectively dead to utilize them as weapons of war. But for Sharon, this was a minor concern. Rather, she was constantly demanding physical taxing heavy weapons, new technologies, and firmware upgrades, controlling her body prosthetic with her own arc and sheer willpower. It's just saying that she's a full body prosthetic. Okay. She doesn't look like she's got this really Mass Effect technology. She's going to be a 1v1 in many cases, but she could take out those critical targets. So it's her stealth abilities that are cool. I get that, like, her Mass Effect and probably her visuals and all that stuff are not the most enticing, but I like stealth gameplay, and so this could be a lot of fun. So Glay Hope Seeker. So I always thought this one was kind of weird, so let's take a closer look. So Glay is a utility dealer, a dealer who becomes stronger the more she gnaws on herself. That's weird, right? Unleashes the rage inside her to quickly subdue her enemies. Her attribute is a non-attribute. So she's like a cutter, if you know what I mean. She's like, I know it's not that funny, but weird. So it creates life spheres upon killing enemies, recovers HP, and stores power of life when absorbing life spheres. So Frenzied consumes HP to enter Berserk mode. In Berserk mode, long distance weapons, ATK, and penetration increase. Life Siphon, so deals damage to nearby enemies and restores HP. In Berserk mode, damage increases. In normal mode, damage inflicted by enemies decreases for a certain period of time. Increased Sensory. Her increased sensory adds an infinite ammo effect for a certain amount of time during frenzy, and when in a non-frenzied state, increases movement speed and HP recovery, during which life sphere generation is increased. Massacre changes current firearm to Massacre, adds additional skill damage during frenzied state, and inflicts stun effect on hit enemies. Exclusive equipment. So variable arc firearm, which is massacre. Creating a weapon that suits Gley, the only being who can use arc, as well as switch between the genetic structures of humans and magisters, was a serious challenge. The main issue was deciding the basis for the output point, and while both Anais and Deslin suggested creating the weapon based on when she's in human form, Gley was adamantly against it. She wanted a weapon that would allow her to slaughter enemies, even if that meant it ate away at her own life. After much wrangling, the output point was set based on when Gley was in a frenzy. When she finally received the weapon, Gley wordlessly stared at it for a long time before slipping it into her holster and then leaving. So yeah, she's even a difficult one to understand what she does, which is never really a good sign for me. I don't know, I feel like there's something secretive about Gley here that's really gonna shine later on with a lot of experience into her. What do you guys think? Any ideas? So Blair, a deadly cook. So he's a damage over time dealer. That's always good in games. I like this idea. So a chef who deals continuous damage and who manipulates fire, gains energy by adjusting firepower. The hot dishes he throws traps the enemies internally in a flame zone. His attribute is fire. So he's got Pitmaster. Critical hit damage increases when attacking enemies in burn state. Critical hit chance increases depending on the number of stoves in battlefield. Blaze Up. So spurts flame to deal damage to nearby enemies and creates stove. Stove inflicts constant damage and burn effect to nearby enemies. Extinguish. Retrieves stoves in the battlefield and restores mana. Retrieving stoves increases depth for a short period of time. And then Burn Taste. Spurts flames forward. Enemies near the flames arrival point are inflicted with constant damage and burn effect. Deadly Cuisine. Throws a large fireball forward. Large fireball splits into small fireballs, causing extra explosion. Explosion damage inflicts burn effect and creates stove on the ground. Stove deals constant damage to nearby enemies and inflicts them with burn effect. Fire Chaos. Incendiary Pyric Release. An arc ability awakened when he was attacked by Colossus Fire. This ability realized ionized high temperature arc gas through the veins of his fingers. The gas is ignited through specifically made gloves that assist with the ignition when unleashing a fire attack on the enemy. The attack form can be adjusted according to the concentration of the ionized arc gas, and because it is different from normal plasma, it is also effective against heat-proof Vulgus. But fire is always cool. It seems a little kind of boring to me just because we see it a lot. It's not as unique or exclusive to this game, which sort of turns it off for me. I don't know. Can anybody talk me into Blair? So Bunny, the speedster. First of all, you want to use her because she's hot and she's got a cool uniform. Well, actually, speed is really fun in any game, especially in open world content where you have to traverse long areas. Anyways, let's take a look at her. So she's a nuker. So a dealer of continuous damage who sprints while discharging electricity. The more she runs, the greater the electricity energy she accumulates, allowing her to release this energy in a powerful shockwave. So she's electric. Rabbit Foot. Charges electricity when moving, inflicts damage to nearby enemies when landing after a double jump. Looks fun, you know, you're gonna be very acrobatic. So Thrill Bomb summons an electric orb to attack nearby enemies and inflict them with electrocute effect. And then she's got Light Speeding. Sprint speed increases significantly and acquires more electricity. Lightning Emission. Moving around deals damage to nearby enemies and inflicts them with electrocute effect. Maximum Power. Shoots out electricity forward to inflict damage. Damage increases in proportion to skill duration. So let's look at her exclusive. So Biopower Conversion Device Suit. So simply known as a biocell, this special suit is a biopower conversion device. It serves as an electric storage device that helps Bunny convert and store electromagnetic force generated by her movements into actual electricity. Thanks to the biocell, Bunny can store electricity generated within her body and attack enemies by releasing that electromagnetic force during combat when necessary. However, Albion was unable to create a perfect electric transition device with their current technology because the electricity generated by Bunny's arc and physical activities was very different from the usual current and pattern. As a consequence, the charged electricity decreases immediately if Bunny doesn't move. That's also the reason why the suit is called a biopower conversion device rather than a typical battery. Yeah, so she's always got to be on the move to get that power, which I think is going to be important because I think the feedback we're getting on Bunny is that she's quite squishy and she doesn't have enough defense, and so she's all DPS. So her defense is always moving and being fast and constantly delivering damage, but the question is that enough to survive in the long term? What do you guys think? But she looks like a ton of fun to use, very unique, and I think a signature character for the First Descendant, no doubt. So Freyna looks cool, the Dominator of Venom. So Freyna. So she's a damage over time dealer, a continuous damage dealer who freely manipulates venom, utilizes the venomous substance produced by her body to trap enemies in swamps of toxin. So she's toxic. Contagion Link, so increases toxic skill power by the number of nearby enemies inflicted with poison from Freyna's skill. This also reminds me of, what was his name? Another Mortal Kombat character, Reptile? Is that his name? The green one? So Toxic Trauma, so throws poison to attack target enemy with damage and inflict room 0 trauma onto nearby enemies. Significantly increases death. There is a chance of inflicting room 0 trauma to enemies upon attack. Decomposed poison. Throws toxins to form a toxic swamp. Enemies entering a toxic swamp receive continuous damage and become inflicted with poison and venom soaked. Enemies inflicted with venom soaked leave toxic footprints as they move, and enemies that touch those footprints become inflicted with poison. Ooh, that's nice. So it's got a waterfall effect, basically. Sort of like the Pestilence, the Plague of the Outcast from the Division 2. So Venomous Baptism. Changes current firearm to Venom Baptism. Enemies hit with Venom Baptism bullets are inflicted with room 0 trauma. Exclusive equipment. Neutralization suit. So Freyna's arc is so dangerous that it ranks amongst the most dangerous toxins that the Magisters have ever quantified. A neutralizer was certainly needed, but with a toxin that could kill on contact, everyone avoided it. But just then, a newly recruited bioengineer volunteered, and before long, he succeeded in developing a substance that neutralized the toxicity of Freyna's arc. Until then, Freyna was unaware that someone had risked their life to develop the neutralizer. It was only when the suit attached with neutralizing filters so that Freyna can fully control her toxins was completed that she learned what happened. Yeah, that's pretty neat. She seems pretty cool. What do you guys think about Freyna and Venom? Continuous damage over time dealer. That's super helpful. So let's check out Volby, the Shape of Water. So, constant DPS, a dealer of continuous damage who moves around freely through her water arc. A terrifying torrent to her enemies, she's always a refreshing ocean wave to her teammates. She's a non-attribute. Water intake. When using skills while standing on water, she consumes less mana. Bubble Bullet. Bounces a bubble bullet forward to create a small puddle where the bubble bullet impacts and where she stands. Enemies in the small puddle take continuous damage are inflicted with laundry. Not sure I like the names of these things. Bubble Bullet and Laundry. That plop. Creates a large puddle where she is standing, then dives in. Volby then pops out of a selected location in the large puddle. I like that, so she can teleport, basically. Enemies in the large puddles take continuous damage and are inflicted with laundry. Volby becomes liquefied. While liquefied, she cannot take her feet off the ground or use skills, but she can move through enemies, and her movement speed and depth increases. That's cool. When moving while liquefied, she creates a path of water that deals continuous damage to enemies and inflicted laundry. Yeah, that's really cool. And it seems like she really creates a mass effect because of being able to be everywhere with that water, right? So Laundry Bomb. So changes the equipped weapon to the Laundry Bomb launcher. When the launcher is fired, a laundry bomb is created, pulling in enemies inflicted with laundry and dealing continuous damage. I mean, major downside is the naming of these things, but her things are really cool. I mean, you don't see a lot of waterworks in games these days, so that's quite unique, I gotta say. Anybody into this character? Kyle the Controller. So he's a bruiser, a damage-dealing tank who generates and manipulates magnetic fields, creates a barrier, or radiates magnetic force to push enemies back and serves as a strong shield for his teammates. I like that idea. So I've always been a fan of DPS tanks. So let's see what he does. So passive skills, experienced technician. So Kyle acquires magnetic force through skills. When his shield is completely depleted, he recovers shield and magnetic force over a certain period of time. Repulsion, dash. So dashes towards enemies, dealing damage and recovering magnetic force. Magnetic bulwark. Creates a frontal barrier to protect against enemy attacks. Recovers magnetic force depending on the type of projectile blocked. Magnetism spurt. So when damaged, magnetic force is reduced instead of HP or shields. So after a certain period of time, magnetic force detonates to deal damage around him. Oh, that's cool. Superconductivity thrusters. So allows him to fly. When landing, deals damage in the area around his landing zone, consuming all accumulated magnetic force. The damage dealt is proportional to the amount of magnetic force consumed. Seems pretty cool. So exclusive equipment. So flying suit with superconductivity thrusters. Kyle's suit was designed to let him use his arc ability, magnetic force, freely. The suit allowed Kyle to protect and save his allies anywhere and anytime. with functions that allowed him to move high speed for moments of danger. Completing the suit, however, was fraught with conflict between Kyle's demands over the performance of the suit and the Magisters contesting this, saying his body would not be able to withstand such power and arc depletion. At one point, there was loud scuffing noises inside the Magister's laboratory, followed by Kyle walking out, infuriated. Eventually, deciding to build the suit himself, Kyle received the materials from the Magisters. Before long, the completed suit was more than just a mere demonstration. It was exactly the way he wanted it. Sort of a maverick, this one, huh? Anybody into Kyle? What do you guys think about that? Between him and Ajax, do you think he could be more effective than Ajax by sharing in the contribution of DPS more? Esimo. I don't know how to say that. The Explosive Master. So burst DPS, nice. A burst DPS who handles explosives, attaches bombs to enemies and detonates them at the right opportunity. His attribute is fire. Ooh, this looks cool. So I think this looks better than the Grenadier in my opinion, so far. So advantageous habit. So drops a bomb on the ground when the shield is completely depleted. That's cool. Time bomb. Launches a sticky bomb forward. The sticky bomb attaches to an enemy or terrain. Feature on contact. Blast. So instantly detonates attached bombs. Bomb damage increases with the number of attached bombs. Guided landmine. Places a guided landmine at current location. Once placed, the guided landmine will fly to an enemy within its detection range and attach to it. Ooh, cool. Arc explosion. So starts moving forward fast. On collision with an enemy while charging, inflicts knockback. When the movement ends, deals damage to nearby enemies and removes buffs from them. After the skill ends, Isimo enters madness state. Hey, that looks cool. Yeah, it looks like it could be kind of fun. So, arc reactive blast proof suit. In addition to the basic protection that it provides, the suit has the ability to collect chemical particles that Isimo discharges through various routes and stores them in an explosion-ready state. With an enormous capacity cost, it can theoretically wipe out an area the size of Kingston in a single blast. The reason Isimo can make a name for himself without being caught in the explosions he creates is that the arc particles captured in the suit neutralize all hazardous materials involved in the explosion. It simultaneously offsets the kinetic energy applied to Isimo. That's pretty cool. They had to come up with a way to not blow himself up. So there it is. Yeah, that seems like fun. He needs a nuke though, right? We need a nuke player. So let's look at Enzo, the best quartermaster. So Enzo is a supporter who uses supply drones, commands the battlefield by supplying ammo to allies while launching long-range attacks with drones at the same time. Oh, that sounds cool, I gotta say. So artillery bombardments. He's like a battleship, basically. Okay, so grants fire support to allies, discuss shoot support. Within an area around Enzo, increasing their max ammo capacity. This efficiency of this effect increases marginally with the number of Enzos in the squad. Ooh. Efficiency increases when Enzo disarms the security of the encrypted vault. I don't know what that is. And rewards increase when this happens. Start supply. Summons a bullet supplying device at the designated location. Supplies bullets to allies that approach the device. The bullet supplying device can be used once by each ally and disappears when everyone has used it, or its duration ends. Explosive drone. Ooh, we like those. Launches an explosive drone forward. The explosive drone explodes on contact with an enemy or a terrain object, dealing damage. That looks fun. Enhanced combat suit. So summons a shield recovery comms. When the shield recovery comms is first summoned, recovers Enzo's energy shield by a certain amount, then continues to recover the energy shield through enhanced combat suit effect. Perfect support. Summons a small supply ship to himself and his allies. That's gotta look cool. The small supply ship periodically provides a supply of bullets and grants perfect support to allies. The small supply ship attacks enemies in front while it is active, and when the skill ends, it fires a missile forward that causes a big explosion at its destination. Wow, really cool. Exclusive equipment. So inorganic matter spatial awareness summoning. So Enzo's arc ability enables him to summon inorganic matter placed in his recognized space to the periphery of his arc's range. While it may seem like a near omnipotent ability at first, it has clear limitations. He cannot summon organic matter, and the inorganic matter he can summon consumes his arc based on their mass, so weapons of a certain level cannot be summoned. However, he virtually can summon an unlimited amount of rounds for tactical squad use and for bombing support drones that are stored in his exclusive armory. Sounds cool, but I wonder how useful he is for the smaller engagements. I mean, because he's so supportive, he seems like he could be limited when it comes to effectiveness. I don't know, I'd really like to hear you guys' take on him because he sounds cool, but I just wonder how much he will be needed. Yujin, the gruff medic. Oh, who doesn't like a medic on their team, right? So Yujin is a healer supporter who uses select drones to heal allies. He heals out, oh, I thought that was a girl. He heals allies and grants them beneficial buffs after determining the distance between the allies and him. Non-attribute. Passive skill. Stop overreacting. Significantly reduces the time to rescue allies. Targets rescued by Yujin increase to max HP for a certain period of time. Solidarity healing. Summons a recovery drone that attaches to allies to heal them. Recovers target, increases their ATK through an accelerant effect upon dismissal. Restructure serum. So fires a restructure serum forward, decreasing death and inflicting allergy. When attacking enemies with allergy, heals nearby allies and grants additional healing to allies who kill the enemy. Stimulant spray. So grants stimulation to allies. While stimulation is active, incoming damage is reduced and recovery is received when simulation ends. Cellular regeneration boost factor generator. Depending on a descendant's own arc, it is common for normal arc to increase abilities or immunity, but Yujin's arc had no effect on him at all. The healing mechanism on Yujin's arc only applied to other people. The arc was of no help to him. Everyone in the testing lab fell silent for a moment. Yujin was the first to open his mouth, casually joking this was the reason why he was delicate, he said. Since he was a doctor, it naturally made sense. However, since he absolutely hated being bothered, Yujin requested a healing device be developed so that he would be bothered less. So they're saying basically he's squishy and needs to be protected. That kind of makes sense. For most healers, we see that. But it's fun to heal your team. It's a different kind of tactical awareness that is required. You need to know where to be positioned. And sometimes you could be the tip of spear, getting your allies in position to take out critical targets with your heals. We've seen that a lot, like in raids, right? Follow the healer, follow the healer. If you're not in the heals, you're not in the right place. So it can be like that. So you can be the tip of spear from that perspective. It could be a very fun position to be. So does Yujin have the capability to lead the pack? Is Yujin gonna allow us to be a busybody so we don't get bored being a healer? That's what I hope. What do you guys think? So there's some ults here, but I'm not gonna go through the ults. Yeah, man, there's a lot of different and really cool abilities here to play with. I mean, Bunny is definitely attractive because it's so iconic to this game, and they're even leading with the Bunny character in many ways because of how unique it is. Angel's got me curious. Sharon seems cool. I like Jaber's drone capabilities, and I like our Sub-Zero concept too. Who was that, Viesa? I don't know, man. I'm gonna need you guys' help. Please help me decide who I'm going to main with first. But I do hope this game is gonna be cool enough to give me the opportunity to try everybody. Also, let me know how many of you will be trying this game on launch or will be sitting on the sidelines watching to see if it's for you. Thank you for hanging out with me. My name is Tuxedo Bandido, and this was another episode of The First Descendant. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The First Descendant. And if you like videos like this, check out the one I have recommended for you right here. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
When you buy or download anything for The First Descendant, be sure to use Tux's creator code to support the channel. Easy peasy.
Follow me.
I get it.